I never imagined that the woman who'd mentored me through my first brutal boardroom battles, the one who'd handed me my corner office on a silver platter, would end up in the back of a squad car because of a baby's wail. But there she was, Karen Hargrove, CEO extraordinaire, pounding on my front door like it was the gates of hell, her designer heels sinking into my freshly mowed lawn as she shrieked threats that could curdle milk. In that split second, as her perfectly manicured nails clawed at the air and her Botox-frozen face twisted into something feral, I realized revenge wasn't just sweet. It was served screaming 1 decibel at a time. It all started 6 months ago when I, Alex Rivera, finally clawed my way out of the corporate grind enough to buy my slice of the American dream. A cozy 3-bedroom in Willow Creek Estates, one of those cookie-cutter suburbs on the outskirts of Raleigh, North Carolina, where the HOAs ruled with an iron fist wrapped in a welcome basket of gluten-free muffins. I'd hustled for years at Hargrove Dynamics, Karen's tech empire, starting as a lowly analyst crunching numbers for her endless mergers. She was the queen bee, sharp as a stiletto, always in those power suits that screamed, "I eat competitors for breakfast." Karen had taken shine to me early on, spotting my potential during a late-night pitch session. "Alex," she'd purred over glasses of overpriced Cabernet, "you're not like the others. You got fire. Stick with me, and I'll make you untouchable." And she did. Promotions flew my way like confetti at a parade. By 32, I was VP of Operations, rubbing elbows with Silicon Valley hotshots at her galas. But Karen's mentorship came with strings, invisible ones that tugged whenever she needed a favor. Late-night calls to just review this deck, weekends hijacked for her pet projects. I told myself it was the price of the dream. Hell, when she heard about my wife Mia's pregnancy, she even threw us a baby shower at the office, all catered with organic kale salads and monogrammed onesies. "Family first, Alex," she toasted, her eyes gleaming like she owned that too. Then Mia gave birth to little Sophia in a sweltering July heat wave. Our girl was a screamer from day one, colic that hit like a freight train every evening around 7 p.m. The whole neighborhood knew it. Those thin walls in Willow Creek didn't muffle much. Most folks were cool about it. Old Mr. Jenkins next door even dropped off a white noise machine with a wink and a hang in there, kid. But not Karen. Oh no. She'd bought the McMansion 2 doors down from us the month before Sophia arrived, flipping it with her designer touch because, as she confided over fence chat one afternoon, suburbs are the new Hamptons, darling. Quiet, exclusive, mine. Karen wasn't just any neighbor. She was the HOA president, elected unopposed, because who in their right mind would challenge a woman who'd once sued a landscaper in a bankruptcy over a crooked shrub? Willow Creek's covenants were her Bible. No visible toys in yards, no RVs overnight, and God forbid, no disruptive noises after 6 p.m. She'd enforce them with the zeal of a televangelist, finding the single mom across the street $200 for her kid's trampoline and dragging the retiree down the block to small claims over his leaf blower. I knew all this because she'd recruited me for the board during escrow. "We need fresh blood, Alex. Someone with your discretion." Discretion meaning I'd turn a blind eye to her exceptions, like the hot tub she installed without a permit, glowing blue under the stars like a Vegas reject. The first warning came via certified mail 2 weeks after we moved in. Sophia's cries had echoed through the cul-de-sac that night, a symphony of pure, unfiltered newborn fury. The letter was typed on HOA letterhead, sealed with that ridiculous wax stamp Karen used to feel fancy. "Dear Mr. Rivera, it has come to the board's attention that excessive noise emanating from your residence is in violation of Section 4.2b. Please rectify immediately or face fines commencing at $50 per infraction." I chuckled at first. Rectify a baby? Mia, bleary-eyed from another all-nighter, just rolled her eyes. Classic Karen. Remember how she passive-aggressively rearranged the office fridge magnets to spell "clean up your ACT" after that, in turn, spilled yogurt? But it escalated fast. The next evening, as Sophia revved up for round 2, Karen appeared at our door in yoga pants and a Lululemon top that probably cost more than our mortgage payment. Her smile was all teeth, like a shark in athleisure. Alex, honey, just a friendly chat. That little one's got pipes, huh? Adorable. But the covenants. She trailed off, glancing past me into our living room, where burp cloths draped every surface like surrendered flags. Mia was on the couch, Sophia latched on mid-feed, and Karen's nose wrinkled ever so slightly. Perhaps a sound machine? Or, one of those nanny services? I could recommend. We're good, Karen. I cut in, keeping my voice even. After all, she was still my boss, and the last thing I needed was her whispering in HR's ear about my work-life balance issues. Appreciate the tip, though. She lingered, eyes narrowing. Of course. We're all family here. But as she turned away, I caught the frost in her voice, the kind she'd reserved for underperforming execs before the pink slips flew. By week 3, the notes turned nasty. Slipped under our doormat at dawn. Sleep deprivation is no excuse for disturbing the peace. Consider your professional reputation. Signed with her looping KH flourish. Mia found it while grabbing the paper, her hands shaking as she read it aloud. This woman's unhinged. And she's your boss? Alex, we have to say something. I did, politely, over email. Karen, love the enthusiasm for community standards, but Sophia's just a baby. It'll pass. Let's grab coffee and talk it out. Her reply pinged back in minutes. Coffee sounds divine. Thursday, 8 a.m., bean there brewed. Don't be late. That meeting was a masterclass in gaslighting. Seated at a corner table, steam rising from our lattes like unspoken accusations, Karen leaned in, her perfume, something sharp and citrusy, invading my space. Alex, I get it. New parent glow and all that jazz. But Willow Creek isn't some chaotic city block. It's curated. And as your mentor, I have to ask, is this really the image you want? Screaming infants at all hours? Clients drive by here, Investors. What if they hear? I sip my coffee, burning my tongue. Client? Karen, it's a suburb, not a showroom. Her laugh tinkled like breaking glass. Everything's a showroom, darling. That's the game. Now, about that Q3 report. She pivoted seamlessly, blending HOA gripes with work digs. By the end, I'd promised to explore options for Sophia's cries. White noise, earlier bedtimes, whatever voodoo might silence the storm. Driving home, I gripped the wheel tighter than necessary. Betrayal simmered low in my gut. This was a woman who'd toasted my wedding, who'd pulled strings for my bonus. And now, she was weaponizing my family against me. Sophia's colic peaked that fall, turning our evenings into war zones. Mia and I tag-teamed it, rocking, swaddling, pacing the hardwood floors until our feet blistered. The neighbors started avoiding eye contact, whispering behind hedges. One night, during a particularly epic meltdown that rattled the windows, I stepped outside for air and spotted Karen on her porch, phone to her ear, gesturing wildly toward our house. Yes, officer? No, not yet, but it's harassment. Pure harassment. My blood ran cold. Harassment? From a baby? I ducked back inside before she saw me, heart hammering. That was the night I started recording. Not out of spite at first, just insurance. My phone's voice memo app captured the cries, the coos, the mundane magic of fatherhood. But as Karen's campaign intensified, those files became my arsenal. Fines started rolling in. $50, then $100, then a cease and desist notice threatening legal action. She cited noise ordinances, even looped in the city council. At work, the chill set in. Assignments yanked. Meetings where she'd forget to CC me. Mia, scrolling through Karen's LinkedIn one sleepless night, gasped. Alex, look, she's posting about preserving tranquility in our oasis, with a photo of our house blurred in the background. That did it. The betrayal crystallized. Karen wasn't just the HOA tyrant. She was sabotaging my life, brick by brick, because a baby's cries dared disrupt her curated calm. I confided in Jake, my old college buddy and a freelance videographer who'd dodged corporate hell for gig economy freedom. Document everything, man, he advised over beers at a dive bar off I-40. Turn the tables. Make her the villain. So I did. Discreetly at first. Ring camera footage of her passive-aggressive lawn stares. Emails forwarded to a private folder labeled Karen's Reign of Terror. Willow Creek's Facebook group buzzed with her allies chiming in. Some people just don't respect the rules. But cracks showed. The single mom she'd find started a petition for baby-friendly amendments. Mr. Jenkins grumbled about her power trip at the grocery store. The breaking point hit on a crisp October evening, leaves crunching underfoot like omens. Sophia was in full throttle, her wails piercing the dusk as Mia and I tried the 5S method: swaddle, side stomach position, shush, swing, suck. Nothing. I stepped onto the porch for a breather, phone in hand, when the front door exploded open 3 houses down. Karen stormed across the lawns, bathrobe flapping over her silk pajamas, hair a wild halo under the streetlights. In her fist, a megaphone. Yes, an actual megaphone, the kind you'd see at a Little League game, but in her hands, it was a bullhorn of doom. Alex Rivera. Her voice boomed, amplified and echoing off the facades. Neighbors' porch lights flicked on like fireflies in panic. This ends tonight. You and your screeching brat are ruining everything. I'll have you evicted. I'll ruin your career. You'll regret the day you crossed me. I froze, phone raised instinctively, video rolling. Mia appeared behind me, cradling Sophia, who, miracle of miracles, hushed at the commotion. Karen advanced, megaphone thrusting like a sword. Threats? You want threats? I'll call child services. Say your little monster's neglected. How's that for your perfect family? The street was a tableau of suburbia gone mad. Curtains twitching, a dog barking in frantic solidarity. Old Mrs. Patel from across the way dialed 911 right there on her stoop, muttering "crazy lady" under her breath. I kept filming, voice steady as I called out, "Karen, back off. You're on camera." That only fueled her. Gamera. Good. Let the world see what a menace you are. CEO Rivera doesn't tolerate chaos. She lunged closer, jabbing the megaphone toward Sophia. Mia yelped, retreating inside, and something primal snapped in me. This wasn't my mentor anymore. This was a monster, unraveling in real time, her empire of control crumbling over a colicky infant. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder as Karen kept ranting. Promises of lawsuits, blacklisting, even making sure that baby never cries again. By the time the cruiser pulled up, blue lights painting the lawns in electric frenzy, she was a whirlwind of flailing arms and spittle-flecked fury. 2 officers, burly guys named Ramirez and O'Leary, as their badges glinted, approached cautiously. "Ma'am, step back. We got a call about threats." "Threats? Me? That man's terrorizing the neighborhood." Karen whirled on them, megaphone forgotten at her feet. But Ramirez held up a hand, glancing at my phone as I showed the footage. "Sir, you want to press charges?" I hesitated, the weight of years flashing by. Her handshakes, her toasts, her betrayals. "Yeah," I said finally, voice like gravel. "Assault with a deadly decibel." They cuffed her right there on my driveway, her silk robe slipping to reveal a tattoo of a phoenix on her shoulder. Ironic, now that her rise was torched. As they led her to the car, she twisted back, eyes locking on mine. "You'll pay for this, Alex. I made you. I can unmake you." The slam of the car door echoed louder than any cry. The arrest made local news by morning. HOA president detained after suburban standoff. But it was the video that ignited the inferno. I uploaded it anonymously to the Willow Creek Facebook group first, just a shaky clip with the caption, "When the rules meet reality." Thoughts? Views spiked like a viral stock tip. 500, then 5,000 overnight. Comments flooded in, a digital lynch mob, disguised as concerned citizens. "This woman's a bully," from a single mom. "Time to dissolve the HOA," from Mr. Jenkins. Even Karen's sycophants turned, one posting a teary emoji. I thought she was just passionate. By noon, it hit TikTok, Jake's magic touch, editing in dramatic music and slow-mo of the megaphone thrust. HOA Karen exploded, racking up 2 million views in hours. Memes bloomed like weeds in her pristine yard. Karen's face photoshopped on a screaming banshees, captioned, "When a baby cries louder than your portfolio." Late-night host caught wind. Colbert quipped about decibel discrimination on his monologue. Suddenly, Willow Creek wasn't just a suburb. It was ground zero for the great Karen reckoning. At the station, Karen lawyered up fast, her firm's top sharks circling like barracudas. Charges? Misdemeanor, disorderly conduct, and terroristic threats. Slap on the wrist stuff? Or so her attorney spun it in a presser outside the precinct. My client was defending her property rights against willful disruption. This is overzealous prosecution. But the video didn't lie. Her threats hung there, raw and unfiltered, for the world to dissect. Work was the real battlefield. Monday morning, I walked into Hargrove Dynamics expecting fallout. Pink slip on my desk, security escort to the curb. Instead, the lobby buzzed with whispers, interns sneaking glances at their phones. Karen's office door loomed at the end of the hall, dark and silent. HR called me in at 9:15 sharp. Susan, a mousy type who'd always idolized Karen, fidgeted with a folder. "Alex, this is unprecedented. The board's in emergency session. For now, we're placing you on paid leave. Pending investigation." Investigation? I leaned forward, pulse thundering. Into what? A baby crying? She winced. Into the conflict of interest. Karen's allegations. Allegations. Plural. By lunch, leaks hit my inbox. Anonymous forwards from concerned colleagues. Karen had filed a countersuit, claiming I'd orchestrated a smear campaign to oust her, complete with fabricated emails suggesting I'd hacked her ring cam. Lies, all of it, but seeded with just enough truth to fester. Rivera's been gunning for my job. One read, timestamp from her phone during a late-night strategy session. My stomach churned. This was her playbook: twist the knife, then blame the victim. Mia fielded the calls at home, Sophia gurgling obliviously in her bouncer. Reporters camped our cul-de-sac, vans idling like vultures. Mr. Rivera? Was this revenge for workplace grievances? I stonewalled them, but inside, the revenge I'd craved soured. I'd wanted her humbled, not this circus. Jake texted, "Dude, you're famous. Milk it, podcast deal." I ignored him, pacing the kitchen as Mia scrolled X, reading aloud the hate piling on Karen. Entitled, "Which Deserves Jail? Moms Unite Against Monsters Like Her." The HOA meeting that week was pandemonium. Held in the community center, a sterile box with folding chairs and a podium scarred from years of petty debates. It drew a crowd that overflowed into the parking lot. I slipped in late, hoodie up, Mia at my side with Sophia in a carrier. Karen's seat gaped empty, a throne of absence. Her VP, a weaselly guy named Todd in pleated khakis, banged a gavel like it owed him money. "Order. We're here to address the incident." Voices erupted. "Resign the board. Refund our dues." A young couple, newbies like us, stood. "Our toddler's teething. Does that mean fines too?" Todd stammered, sweat beading. Then the doors banged open. Karen, released on bail, she swept in like a hurricane in Chanel, flanked by her lawyer and a PR flack. Bruised but unbroken, her hair shellacked, makeup armor thick. "Good evening, neighbors," she purred, commandeering the podium. "I've been slandered, vilified by one man's vendetta. But I stand for us, for quiet streets, property values, civilization." The room hissed. I felt Mia's hand tighten on mine. Karen's eyes scanned, landing on me like lasers. Alex Rivera knows exactly what he did, twisting a mother's concern into this. Spectacle. Mother's concern? The gall. Whispers turned to shouts. "Liar. Arrest her again." Todd tried mediating, but it devolved into chaos. Fists on tables, a water pitcher toppled. Karen held firm, voice rising. "This community built me up. It won't tear me down." But as she gestured, her sleeve caught the mic cord, yanking it free. Static screeched, and in the hush, someone, me, maybe, murmured loud enough, built on threats. She spun, face ashen. "You, this is your doing." Lunging across the aisle, she grabbed my arm, nails digging crescents. "I gave you everything. And you repay me with this betrayal? Security, two rent-a-cops in ill-fitting polos, hauled her back as flashes pop from phones. Another video, destined for virality. Mia pulled me away, Sophia fussing at the noise. Outside, under sodium lamps, Karen sagged against her lawyer's Mercedes, the fight draining like air from a punctured tire. For a flicker, I saw the woman who'd mentored me, vulnerable, human. Then her mask snapped back. You'll regret this, Alex. All of it. I turned away, the night's chill seeping in. Regret? Maybe. But as her taillights faded, I felt the scales tip. Her empire was cracking. Mine, fragile as it was, stood. The backlash hit like a Category 5. By dawn, justice for Karen trended. Not in her favor, but as an ironic rally cry from trolls and true crime pods dissecting her dissent. Willow Creek's group chat imploded with resignations. Dues payments halted. Karen's countersuit laughed out of preliminary hearings when the judge viewed the megaphone footage. Ma'am, he drawled, southern drawl thick as molasses. That's not advocacy. That's assault with an amplifier. At Hardgrove Dynamics, the board moved swift. Emergency vote. Karen suspended pending full review. Stock dipped 3% on the news. Analysts citing leadership instability. I returned from leave to a hero's welcome. Sort of. Colleagues clapped me on the back in the break room, whispering about time someone stood up. But the undercurrent hummed. Fear. What she came back swinging. She didn't. Not directly. Instead, the sabotage started subtle. Client emails accidentally forwarded with my name redacted. Performance reviews from her era resurfacing with damning notes. Lax discretion. I fought back with my own paper trail, CCing the board on every anomaly. Jake helped, digging into public records. Karen's HOA slush fund, fines funneled to her consulting side gig. It leaked to the press. HOA horror. President's pocket lining exposed, and her allies scattered like roaches. Mia and I hunkered down, Sophia's colic finally easing into gummy smiles. But the stress lingered, a shadow in our sunlit kitchen. Late nights, I'd replay the videos, not for schadenfreude, but catharsis. Betrayal's a slow poison. Revenge, its bitter antidote. One evening, as acorns pelted the roof, a package arrived. No sender, just a plain box on the stoop. Inside, a monogrammed onesie, the one from her baby shower, slashed to ribbons. Note attached. You took my family. Enjoy yours while it lasts. Okay. Chills raced my spine. Was this a threat? I called the cops again. Ramirez this time, who sighed over the line. Rivera. She's unhinged, but we need more than scissors. He paused. Heard she's selling the house. Fleeing to Florida, or some such. Selling. The word hung like smoke. I drove by that weekend, past the for sale sign, stabbing her lawn. Movers hauled boxes, framed awards, abstract art, the hot tub drained and tarp-covered. Karen emerged once, directing traffic in sunglasses and a scarf, unrecognizable. Our eyes met across the blacktop. She didn't wave, didn't glare. Just nothing. A ghost in her own kingdom. The closing came quick. Willow Creek breathed easier without her shadow. New board, laxer rules, a playground petition approved. At work, I got the promotion she'd blocked. Interim CEO. The board toasted me in the conference room, glasses clinking to fresh starts. But as I stood there, overlooking the skyline, Mia's text buzzed. Sophia's first word, Dada. Come home. Home. Not the office, not the suburb. I left early, the weight lifting. Karen? Last I heard, she was consulting for a gated community in Boca Raton. Same game, smaller pond. Her LinkedIn went dark. Rumors swirled of a breakdown, a memoir in the works titled Silenced, a woman's fight for peace. Bitter? Sure, but the ending she got wasn't handcuffs or headlines. It was irrelevance, fading into the noise she'd so despised. As for me, revenge settled like dust. I'd unmade her, yes, but in the process, remade myself. Sophia's laughter fills our halls now, no megaphones to drown it. And on quiet nights when the crickets chorus outside, I wonder, was it worth it? The shock, the spectacle, the scars? Hell yes. Because in America, the dream's not handed, it's taken. One cry at a time. Months blurred into a haze of legal wrangling and viral fame. The threats charge stuck. Prosecutors, smelling blood in the water, upgraded it to a felony when forensics pulled audio from neighbors' Nest cams corroborating her ruin-your-career rants. Karen's bail hearing turned into a circus, paparazzi swarming the courthouse steps as she arrived in a chauffeured Escalade, flipping off drones like a rock star gone rogue. No comment, her lawyer barked, but she couldn't resist a glare my way through the scrum. Inside, the judge, a no-nonsense woman named Hargrove, irony noted, denied house arrest. Given the public safety risk and Ms. Hargrove's history of intimidation, Karen's gasp echoed as they led her to county lockup. TikTok lit up again. Karen in cuffs, users stitching her mugshot, leaked, somehow, with baby animal remixes. From boardroom to bars, one captioned, garnering 10 million likes. I should have felt vindicated, but the betrayal gnawed deeper. That night, Mia and I sat on the couch, Sophia asleep between us, Netflix flickering some mindless rom-com. You okay? Mia asked, tracing my knuckles. Yeah, just. She was family once. The words tasted like ash. Karen had been at our wedding, toasting with that predatory smile. To Alex and Mia, may your union be as unbreakable as my resolve. Unbreakable. Huh. The revenge phase kicked in subconsciously. I started a blog, Suburban Siege, One Dad's Stand Against Tyranny, anonymous at first, chronicling the saga with redacted emails and blurred screenshots. It blew up, syndicating to Medium, then picked up by The Cut for a feature, the HOA that tried to silence a baby. Controversy brewed. Women's groups decried Karen as peak privilege, while conservative outlets spun it as nanny state overreach. Pundits on Fox debated parental rights versus property rights, my face pixelated in the cheering. Karen's response? A jailhouse interview with a tabloid, smuggled via her lawyer. Alex Rivera was my protege, brilliant, but ruthless. He used that child as a weapon. I'm the victim here. Victim. The word ignited X-Wars. Team Karen versus Team Baby. Death threats flying both ways. Mine pinged at 2 a.m. Hope your kid chokes on her screams, traitor. I unplugged the router, held Mia tighter. Work suspended her indefinitely, but the board dragged their feet on firing. Loyalty's a hell of a drug. I pushed, leaking internal memos to Jake, who funneled them to Bloomberg. Hargrove Dynamics in turmoil. CEO's HOA scandal rocks tech giant. Stock plummeted 12%. Investors bailing like rats from a power suit. The board caved. Karen ousted. Golden parachute clipped to 6 figures. She countersued the company for defamation, but it crumbled when Discovery revealed her slush fund. HOA fines laundered through shell LLCs for personal spa retreats. The outrage peaked at her arraignment. Court TV streamed it live, viewers spiking to cable highs. Karen, in orange jumpsuit that clashed with her spray tan, pleaded not guilty, voice quivering for the cameras. This is a witch hunt. I was protecting my home. Our homes. Her lawyer pivoted to mental health, hinting at stress-induced episode, but the prosecutor shredded it with psych evals from past HOA disputes, narcissistic traits, history of aggression. I testified via Zoom from our living room, Sophia's toys scattered like landmines. She threatened my family, Your Honor. Not just words, actions that terrified my wife. Karen's eyes bored through the screen, promising hell. The judge nodded, setting trial for spring. Bail denied again. Flight risked to her Boca bolt hole. Backlash rippled outward. Willow Creek's HOA dissolved in a special election. 98% turnout. New charter drafted by Mom Collective. Finas Vifandiv, Governance Gatif. National headlines dubbed it the baby uprising, inspiring copycats. A Texas dad suing his busybody neighbor, a California block party protesting noise Nazis. But the bitter twist came personal. During discovery, Karen's team unearthed my old emails, gushing thank yous from my early days, one even joking about ditching the wife for a corner office. Twisted out of context, It painted me as ambitious to a fault, willing to betray for the climb. Leaks at the press. Protégé's dark side. Was Rivera's revenge calculated? Doubts crept in. Colleagues ghosted. Mia's family side-eyed at Thanksgiving. You sure you didn't push her buttons, Alex? I doubled down, releasing full video archives on YouTube. Hours of her escalating harassment, set to a somber acoustic track Jake scored. Views hit 50 million, a Netflix true crime doc pitched. But victory hollowed. Sophia's first Christmas, under twinkling lights, I caught Mia staring at the tree, distant. This fame, it's changing us. She was right. The revenge I'd sought left scars. Trust eroded, privacy shattered. Karen's trial loomed like a storm cloud, but whispers said she'd plea out, community service in a daycare, ironic poetic justice. The trial unfolded in a Raleigh courtroom that smelled of polished wood and stale coffee, a far cry from the gleaming boardrooms Karen once commanded. Spring humidity clung to everything, frizzing her newly permed hair as she entered, shackles traded for an ankle monitor that beeped faintly under her slacks. The prosecution built their case like a house of cards. The video as cornerstone, witness testimonies from neighbors stacking the walls. Mr. Jenkins took the stand, his voice gravelly. She'd glare at my grandkids' bikes like they were felonies. That night, pure uninjured. Karen's defense? A circus of character witnesses, former execs praising her tough love, a therapist testifying to executive burnout. She testified herself on day 3, voice steady, eyes dry. I was scared, Your Honor. That crying, it wasn't just noise. It was chaos invading my sanctuary. Alex knew my triggers. He exploited them. Exploited. The word landed like a slap, reframing me as puppet master. Jurors shifted, notebooks flipping. I watched from the gallery, Mia's hand clammy in mine. Sophia waited with a sitter, blissfully unaware her gurgles had toppled an empire. Cross-examination gutted her. Ms. Hargrove, did you ever consider empathy? A gift? A conversation sans megaphone. Her lawyer objected, badgering, but the damage stuck. The prosecution sealed with my footage, played in slow-mo, her face contorting, threats spilling like venom. Deliberation dragged 2 days. We paced the courthouse lawn, rain spitting from gunmetal skies. Verdict at 4:17 p.m., guilty on all counts. Felony threats, misdemeanor disorderly. Sentencing in 2 weeks. Karen didn't flinch, just lifted her chin, whispering to her lawyer as bailiffs let her out. But later, grainy jail cam footage leaked. Her sobbing in her cell, makeup rivers, begging for a plea deal. Sentencing day, the room packed tighter than a Black Friday sale. Karen addressed the court, voice cracking for effect. I've lost everything. My home, my career, my dignity. But I forgive Alex. He was like a son. Son. The lie burned. Judge Hargrove wasn't buying. She's sentenced 18 months, suspended to probation, 200 hours community service at a crisis nursery, where you can learn what real disruption feels like, Ms. Hargrove. Plus $50,000 restitution to Willow Creek's legal fund, and a restraining order barring her from our street. Outside, reporters mobbed. Karen's car peeled away, windows tinted black. I fielded mics. Justice? Yeah. Closure? We'll see. But as flashbulbs popped, or rocketed through the crowd. Aimed at me? No. Her Escalade's rear window, shattering glass. Karen down but not out trended, extremists vowing payback. The bitter end unraveled slow. Karen vanished to Florida, shacking in a condo with her sister, hawking leadership coaching online, seminars on resilience under fire. Her memoir dropped quietly, self-published on Amazon. Echoes of Silence, My Battle for Suburban Sanity. Reviews savaged it. Delusional drivel from a domestic terrorist. Sales tanked at 247 copies. Hargrove Dynamics? I took the CEO helm permanently, steering it through the scandal with transparency town halls and family leave expansions. Stock rebounded, but ghosts lingered. Empty exec suites, trust fractured. Mia and I therapy-ed our way through the paranoia, Sophia's toddler tantrums triggering flashbacks. It's over, me'd say, but nights I'd check locks twice. Revenge's aftertaste? Gall and grit. Karen's last jab came via certified mail, 6 months post-sentencing. A severance check from her old firm, cashed with a note. Use it for earplugs. Enjoy the quiet you stole. Your maker. I framed it, hung in my office as a reminder. Power corrupts, but so does its fall. Willow Creek thrived. Block party sans bylaws. Sophia, chasing fireflies with the Patel kids. Me? I wrote the book, Literal, a bestseller on toxic ambition, ghost-ridden with Jake. Royalties bought us a cabin in the Smokies, where cries echo off mountains, free and fierce. Karen? Last sighting, a blurry Insta of her at a tiki bar, my tie in hand, caption new chapters. Bitter? Undoubtedly. But in the end, her kingdom crumbled not to threats or trials, but to the unrelenting rhythm of life. A baby's cry, outlasting empires. And me? The betrayed turned avenger. I sleep sound now. The hook's pulled free. The line goes slack. In America, that's the real win. Moving on, louder than before.